And I have to also say 10x is not about revenue. It's not about profitability. People always think of money. 10x or exponential mindset is an attitude. It's an attitude of go-getter. It's an attitude that there are big things that I can do. You should make sure that you break away from entitlement. Do not rely on the system to look after you. What are those things that when I do, I fly? They call it you are in the flow. In other words, because I just laugh. It doesn't give me anxiety. And half the time, I see a lot of people in Botswana and all that. Just every day they're drenching in things that they don't like. There's really no reason why we should have people, children, some of our kids who are not going to school now.
Help me welcome to the show, the 10x entrepreneur, Mr. Oabona Kgengwenyane.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. How are you doing?
No, we're doing good. And you?
I'm extremely excited. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Deep Dive Sessions. My name is Mpomotaro. Thank you for stopping by. We have something amazing for you today. We have Mr. Kgengwenyane of InnoLead Consulting, one of the leading consulting firms in Botswana. They have branches in Zambia, Rwanda, and Uganda. A company mandated in project management, corporate strategy, and ICT consulting. He's also the CEO of Digital Kgaye and Manenzo Farming, where they do more of the hardware things and where they do cattle breeding respectively. So ladies and gentlemen, buckle up as we listen to Mr. Kgengwenyane take us through 10x thinking that will help us grow our businesses exponentially. Let's deep dive. Actually, I wanted to get straight into the meat of the conversation we're going to be having today. What is the mindset of a 10x entrepreneur? Because Ghana ono to Canada. I get it. Not to Canada not so long ago. And I'm sure you have been dealing with, you're dealing with the likes of Budden Sullivan. And he talks about 2x is easier than 10x. So what is the mindset of a 10x entrepreneur?
Okay. Also, let me just say hi to your audience.
Yes.
Everybody good? Thank you so much. No, I'm looking forward and glad. I'm very happy that you invited me.
Yes.
And looking forward to the chat and also sharing some of my experiences.
Yes.
Now, when you talk about the 10x mindset, exponential thinking, 10x, we usually compare 10x or exponential thinking versus linear type thinking. Scarcity mindset versus abundant mindset. So all those are really cornerstones of what you can call the modern day entrepreneur who has an attitude. There are big things out there. I can do bigger things than now. So traditionally, we are all really premised on the traditional linear way of thinking about things. In other words, as an example, some of you who are employed in organizations, you know typically you'll do your strategy or your budgeting and you'll say, no, next year we want to grow 10%. We want to grow maybe you say 20%.
Yeah.
But you can imagine when now, understanding what's happening around the world, you can say, actually we can grow 10 times. It's a very boggling thing for a lot of people, even myself. The first time I joined this strategic coach program and our coach was asking, this is now going back to 2016, where he was asking us, okay, 10x. Okay, just go back in terms of your career and check where you've done things 10x in an abundant and in that way. So I checked in terms of my experience with InnoLead and Manenzo. When I started the company around 2002, 2004, we were revenuing so much. And then 10 years later, by 2015, we actually grown the company 10 times. So sometimes we actually don't even think we can do it. And I have to also say 10x is not about revenue. It's not about profitability. People always think of money. 10x or exponential mindset is an attitude. It's an attitude of go-getter. It's an attitude that there are big things that I can do. Why we usually couple it with technology is because technology has now gone to the extent that it has grown in the past about 10 years, where a lot of the technologies are growing 10 times in terms of performance in terms of power, or performance in terms of price. So a lot of things in the world right now are dropping in price. Just to give you an example in terms of just one of the areas which is very dear to me is health. There are guys who are hacking health who are saying in 10 years' time, there's this futuristic guy who used to be engineering manager at Google, Ray Kurzweil. He's the best predictor in terms of technologies in the world. In 10 years' time, we should have medicine that will start reversing aging. Can you believe it? Him, there's a doctor in Harvard, Dr. Sinclair, and others are collaborating, and they are convinced in 10 years' time, they will have content. In terms of all the science and technologies that are happening around AI, around nanoscience, around all those type of things, gene therapy and those type of things. Another example, if you, just to give a very practical example, is some of you who follow health sciences or biotech. In the 90s, when they started the Genome Project. Remember the Genome Project? To sequence DNA at the time was $2.6 billion. Now today, you can do your DNA sequences for $500. Now imagine that price performance. So in future, they're all happening in those worlds. They're not here yet. But if you know your DNA, it means that you can personalize your medicine, your health, and then be more specific about what your needs. Because half the time people die because of the medication that does not get along with your body. You get it? So that's just an example. So like I said, in terms of health, in terms of AI, robotics, and all those type of things, it's all about the technology has led the scientists in the world to know what there are bigger things that can happen in the world. Right now in Africa, we are behind on lots of things. And my take is that entrepreneurs plus technology, abundant thinking, 10x thinking, we can really sort a lot of the stuff that's bothering Africa. Poverty, energy, and all that, because people, we are so, when you talk about energy, out of the whole world, we still have 600 million Africans who do not have access to basic energy. Basic energy. Some people are home. So where are we as entrepreneurs? Solar prices are dropping. I mean, if I can tell you how much the cost of solar has been dropping in price and performance is just amazing. So we should be predicting what they call the inflection point, when now it should be affordable for everybody. That's where abundance is coming in. In other words, energy will be so abundant that Africa should be able to industrialize much quicker when energy is cheaper from solar, from wind prices, battery prices, all that are falling. They say they're on a free fall. That's right. Yeah. So that's, I know I went all about education in terms of examples. Education, AI, there's really no reason why we should have people, children, some of our kids who are not going to school now. When through some of one of the guys who attend coach, the program that I attend in Canada that he was referring to for entrepreneurs every 90 days, there's a chap called Peter Diamandis. He's an exponential. So they started a prize where they use crowdsourcing, crowdfunding, and they've got a private where teams compete around the world where they throw problems. And they said, we have an illiteracy problem, primarily in Africa. How can we go into Africa and make sure that we can get a typical child in Tanzania, no school, no literacy, but in 18 months, he's fully literate. They did that competition, minds all around the world and all that, and now they've got a solution that within 18 months, they can get a kid from knowing nothing, writing, reading nothing, to just through technology. And with AI, that should become abundant. That's what. And then we are going around doing tenderpreneurship, what, when there are things that are happening out there. And that's really the message to say, if we really leverage technology, we can solve African problems, especially entrepreneurs are problem solvers. But if you go into entrepreneurship and you think you are, you want to make money, that's a wrong premise. That's a wrong start. I was telling him earlier what entrepreneurs. There are two things about entrepreneur. An entrepreneur, as defined by a 19th century French guy called John Baptiste, entrepreneurship. Or an entrepreneur is someone who takes something from a low level of productivity to a high level of productivity. Okay? And an entrepreneur is also someone who adds value either to a problem, an opportunity, without expecting returns first. Can I underline that? Without expecting returns. It's after you've sorted out the problem, then the money will roll.
It's a result.
It's a result. It's a result. That's one.
It's a byproduct.
The second big thing about entrepreneur is that you should make sure that you break away from entitlement. Do not rely on the system to look after you. A sense of financial independence. Because a lot of us, we are prisoners of systems, prisoners of government, prisoners of our family, prisoners of our society. In other words, we comply too much. Entrepreneurs are people that have got breakthrough minds. They do things differently, crazy. You all know Elon Musk, or sometimes a bit nutty. That's the spirit of an entrepreneur. And he's nutty. That's why he's where he is. So we don't, they're not necessarily compliance. When we did the workshop 2 weeks ago, Coach, one of the questions that our facilitator asked us as entrepreneurs was, when did you last break the mold? Like, it's just break the mold. When you did something that was against the grain and actually stuck out. And it's interesting, a lot of the entrepreneurs, even at a young age, you did something that was against the grain. That's right. And I had examples. I mean, if you want, I can share some of the examples where, and unintentionally, I mean, I just did things that a lot of people were shocked. But how can you do that? Should I share some of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
The first one was, I went through the sciences, as I said. I'm a mechanical engineer, by the way. So we were at UB and we did BSc Part 1 and PESC. I don't know, some of you maybe young to know what PESC was. But during that time, then Botswana will advertise for scholarship. Some of us were into sciences. Then I qualified for the scholarship. The Botswana scholarship was like, I think it's still a super thing, isn't it? So at the time, obviously, they had a lot of foreign engineers. So they were really promoting. So I got the scholarship amongst other guys, BSc more. And then I went, then there was no internet. So I went to the library and researched about, they gave me metallurgy, to do metallurgy. So I went to research, I went to the library, went through, because, this thing, I'm going to stuck in the mines. No, man, I don't want to be stuck in the mines. You see the abundant mindset? I didn't know anything about abundance or linear thinking or all that jazz. So that's why I ran back to the I don't want metallurgy. Can I negotiate something? I remember the lady very well. She was very shocked. She said, everybody's happy. And you think, and I said, no, I insist. So he said, okay, actually I said, no, maybe then I'll go to a government scholarship, where they'll give me something that I prefer. No, why? After 3 weeks, so that's how I said, after researching mechanical engineering, I saw that mechanical engineering is very broad. You can work in a power station, you can design cars, you can design aeroplanes as a mechanical. So it's very, very broad. That's how I went into mechanical engineering. The second one was when I broke from we call it corporate refugees, when you work in a corporate and you find it extremely stifling.
There's a ceiling.
The bureaucracy was just too much. So I was doing very well. Promotions were good, combining. And then I said, and I told them, it looks like high-level decisions, they take 6 months to be implemented because they go through that's not my game. That's not my game. So, and I did it very nicely because I said, within 2 years, if I find my vision of the things that I want to do and how Botswana does things do not match, then I'll humbly request you to release me. That's right. And that's what happened after 2 years. But before then, I told them the things that I want to do within Botswana that will play in my space. And then, as it happened, then I exited very well. I exited very well because the majority of our sales come from Botswana. They are really a key client because I left very well from that company. So that was one, again, where I broke the mold, where against my colleagues, they still, some of them say, hey, how do you do it? Because they're stuck in corporate.
Mr. Kgengwenyane,
yeah.
So you moved from Botswana because we were basically 10 years ago. And then InnoLead started. In an interview, you talked about 2015, where you've kind of reached that ceiling.
Sure.
Talk to me then about because from there you're saying you started the strategy coach 2016.
Yeah.
How were you able to move from there now and then take this to the next level, to that 10x? Like, what are the steps or the procedure?
Okay. It's first of all, it's almost streamlining because when I got to coach, then I was exposed to they expose you to the tools, the techniques, even the philosophy of 10x thinking.
Right.
So you get there, you think, and it's not only about revenue, as I said, it's about capabilities, it's about what you want to do with your family, what you want to do in society. Some people there that went into coach they are multi-million-dollar type guys. And they actually wanted to 10x their contributions from a non-profit point of view. But some of them were working so hard because as entrepreneurs, we really work so hard, sometimes to the loss in terms of our families and friends. So some of them, for the first time, coach gave us tools to be able to work and also have your life that you like. For instance, one of the first things that they did was they have a philosophy where they say they do a unique ability inventory for you. In other words, as Oabona like me, what are those things that when I do, I fly? They call it you are in the flow. In other words, because I just laugh. It doesn't give me anxiety. And half the time, I see a lot of people in Botswana and all that, just every day they're drenching in things that they don't like.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's unfair to the human being.
Yeah.
You're with me? That's really unfair. And I feel for those people. That is why I'm here. I'm trying to say, find your unique ability, even if it takes you 5 years to pave way for your unique ability. So when I got there, we did the inventory where we went through my unique ability and we said, what are those things that are passionate? There are things, I mean, a lot of the students, people like us, especially engineers, who are very diligent. So there are things that you do very well. In other words, you are competent, but you excel, but they're not necessarily your passion. That's what. So we actually do that. And then over time, you start knocking off the things that are not your passion. It takes time. You can't just say, I'm going to do it because now I have to look at mobile. I have to look at sanity check. Hey, Mr. K, sanity check. So from then onwards, so we reorganized the business. I started focusing on the things that are my passion, but importantly, also some of the team members at InnoLead, we did their unique ability to find so we started positioning people in the organization where they can excel. Now, where they can excel, it means now they can really grow 10x in that space. Clients shine. Even we move people around. You might have someone in accounts. Kanti opportunity to be in sales. Kanti is a ruthless, super salesperson, and that's where abundance and 10x can grow. So that's what we've done, and that's really what has contributed to us really growing as an organization. I mean, an example, we talked about farming. I mean, farming law, and so I try to apply this in every sphere in which we do entrepreneurship. For instance, 2008, we purchased the farm, which is some of you who know farming, it's a 6 kilometer by 6 kilometer farm in the Sandveld. After a couple of months, there's no way you can make profit out of a 6 by 6. I did the numbers, and all that. So I said, no, I need to 10x this damn thing. So I didn't waste time. Started analyzing, I went to see. And the other thing is about thinking, is that never think anything is an impediment. So I banged into Mr. De Graaf's office, the Minister of Agriculture. Mr. De Graaf, let's talk about 6 by 6. This thing does not make money. I mean, somebody should show me how they make double-digit numbers out of a 6 by 6, especially our land, because you can't stock too much.
I've actually had a problem at a lot of the conversation with traditional farming. How do people make money from traditional farming? How is the money?
No. Tell them to show you the spreadsheet. There's no way you can make money. So I approached Mr. De Graaf, I need land. I need land because I cannot do this thing unless it's 10x. I fought. The attenders coming into land. I applied. Till Murimo School at Tao, we got almost a 10,000 hectare farm in Banyana, in the Banyana farms. So there we are now, we've got almost 13,000 hectares. And I kept pushing. Just earlier this year, we've got another 200 hectares under irrigation. And people said, how do you do it? Guys, it's the thinking. I went to Banyana. Now, you cannot do farming in Botswana without fodder. And fodder from the shops is too expensive. Again, you can't make profit. So I said, I don't believe in this rain-fed, type thing. So I said, it needs to be irrigation. And I pushed and pushed it. People listen. People, I know we like whinging sometimes, but keep pushing something, the tree will fall. And then, fortunately, we applied and we got a piece of land next to a river, 200 hectares. Now we're going to grow fodder. Now we're going to feed these animals and we can stock more. Once you have fodder, you can stock more. Like when I get 10x, get 10x, and I enjoy farming, I enjoy nature. So it's not about the sales, it's all about enjoying nature. You can imagine doing yoga by the riverside, that type of thing, the health. So hopefully one day I can live to 100 as well.
But what about the work, Mr. K?
Yeah.
Because people can say, if I was making 10 calls a day, I'm getting 2,000, example. So for me to make, if I want to 10x to 20,000, that means I have to make 100 calls. But how people say, I'm making 100 calls, see. I'm just giving this as an example. Obviously, you can make 100 calls in a day.
Sure.
But another job to do those 100 things is going to increase the work. I'm going to have to hire all these things. The mechanics of it, of 10x, I think maybe that's where a lot of us maybe get boggled.
Yeah.
Is it because we're trying to do it for lack of a better word, like a blueprint on how to 10x effectively? Is it that? Or what is it? Because some people think 10x is just work harder, do more, and everything. But as you are saying, 10x is the mindset.
No, it's a mindset.
You're figuring something out. So it's almost like it's a knowledge gap or something.
I'll tell you about entrepreneurs. I mean, one of the things that I benefit a lot from going there is, one of those guys, they read. So, I mean, they say, if some of you follow Bob Buffett and all those guys, a real successful entrepreneur reads about 50, 60 books a day. Is it a day? A year. Yes, a year. So I'm mentioning this because I'm very inquisitive. I mean, these days there's so much bombardment of this and that, and then there's technology now, and then AI. So like you said, should you be making hundreds of calls per day, or you can leverage AI? And I'm quite shocked because there are a lot of people, entrepreneurs and businesses, they still haven't taken up AI. Guys, AI is the next revolution. Some people are comparing it to the industrial revolution. The way it's going to really revolutionize how we work.
Yeah.
So in terms of your sales, right now, you've talked to Monty about what he's doing to companies around leveraging AI. And it can, at some stage, it's going to be doing calls for us. In countries like Japan, they don't even have a front desk person. I'm like a robot. It speaks back and all that in terms of voice recognition and stuff like that. So there are technologies out there that can facilitate the 10x. In other words, you are right. That's linear thinking when you think these things have been done this way, so we'll carry on doing that way. So in 10x, you got to be thinking about how to do things differently. And 10x mindset entrepreneurs are extremely inquisitive. That is why we talk about the philosophy of entrepreneurs that I've adopted from Coach. We talk about 4 freedoms that entrepreneurs live by. The first freedom is freedom of time. The second freedom is freedom of money. You can't do anything without money. The third freedom is freedom of relationships. You got to have the relationships that you want in life for you to grow. And the last one is freedom of purpose. You need to be able to define what your purpose is in life and actually go for that purpose. So since I joined Coach in terms of 10x thinking, as an example, I strictly do not work on Thursday to free my time. So guys are shocked since 2015, Thursday, even our clients, they know Thursday I don't get touched. I do all the health stuff, grab a massage, go for a jog. Yeah, all those type of things. Visit friends, spend time with family. Those things that we don't take seriously. That one. So I've been doing that and I have more time. It's interesting about this. Just taking the free days, actually the company has grown. Can you believe it? You see where it comes from. So since 2015, I've taken more time off, but the company has performed better. That's right. So it's a very, very, very unique thing because partly now I focus on the things that I like, that I'm passionate about. The team members are focusing on. So it's like Team Arsenal, where everybody's in the right position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then the team becomes untouchable. When I go 2, go 3, go 7, everybody's a problem for the opposition. So if you do that in a team, guys, the sky is the limit. And it's not just about that in terms of techniques. It's also about, obviously, the health, the well-being and all that. One time when I come here, we'll talk about well-being and happiness because it's a subject that's very dear to me as well. Because you can't do all those things unless you're... one time, one guy joined us at Coach, a new guy,
I want to put a success cave.
Because you can't be an entrepreneur. You can't be, you can't have the vitality, the energy, the what. I was going to entrepreneur. What's the client thing? So you got to have that. So those are the things that we do at InnoLead. Guys should exercise. We obviously do what you like. Whether you are a jogger, whether you are a gym guy, whether you are a meditator, whatever you do it so that when you come to work, you are really. And one of the things that we do as well is that I left corporate because I really have a problem with rigidity, procedures, and all that. So the guys work. They said all we want is results. What you do, paying and what, just want results. So when the guys say, guys, today I'm not turning up to work. So, okay, it's right. It's no big deal. In work, bureaucracy, sign leave and all that. So, no. So we became a very unique organization. Guys, these things are happening. These guys are not even talking, 10X organizations are not talking about structures, talking about beehive structures. There is an organization right now in Canada, a new bank, that has got absolutely no structures. They only come together when they have to do regulations with the bank. And they're making more profits than the traditional banks. Even a software company, is based in Seattle, no structures. They come together and they make more money per client compared to Microsoft. Just out of destroying the business and thinking differently. And that's the one thing that we need to do, because as Africans, as Botswana, we are very rules-based. Society dictates what we do. We got to start thinking outside the box, what is possible, and because it's also because of our schooling. Our schooling is a problem because we were taught to think in a particular way, in a rigid way, and tested to pass test. Creativity was stifled. Prefecty. So now in this entrepreneurial world, you got to really be able to operate in a very fluid situation where you trust people and that type of thing.
Yes, sir. Mr. Kgengwenyane, we spoke about, 10X, all that. We spoke about. Now my curiosity is around the area of, I want us to move into AI, because it's an area that leveraging technology allows us to 10X. So before we stopped, we were talking about AI and just how much we can leverage it. But with AI also comes some dangers that I think people are unaware of. And personally, there's a lot I don't know about AI while I'm still studying it. But I think there's great leverage. And as you were saying, I think I watched an interview yesterday, Strive Masiwa. It's almost like AI will be like the industrial revolution.
Sure.
So I think a lot of people may not understand the magnitude of it, because we understand the internet came in the late 90s. The internet changed everything of how we're doing it. But AI, in comparison to, that is 18 something, the industrial revolution. So it was completely a different world after the industrial revolution. So what is AI and how can we apply it in the best way possible? And how should we be looking at it? And what are you most excited about?
Yeah, I think they say that the human brain has not been upgraded for over 50,000 years. Like software, it hasn't been upgraded, and AI has provided an opportunity to upgrade our intelligence. They talk about brain-computer interfaces, where now we are moving to where we will fiddle with our brains to be able to be more hyper-intelligent. And this is where, artificial intelligence come in, basically augmenting our intelligence to be a lot more powerful. What makes it even scary and in terms of magnitude of the impact is the convergence of different technologies. The power of AI is also boosted by cloud computing, by power of batteries. I talked earlier about solar, where you can power anywhere in the planet. We know about the nano satellites that are going to be roving around the Earth, where we'll be able to have 200 megs anywhere. Some even say more than 200 megs. So you can imagine that we will have access to power, to quantum computing anywhere in the world. So it means that you have very powerful intelligence that can boost human beings. That's why now the worry is, are they dangerous to that? And the argument is that like any other technology that has come, it was meant for good things, but we have managed, human beings have been able to prevail. Although if you take, for instance, the example that they use by and large is nuclear. Nuclear, when it was born out of experimentation by scientists to try and get this extremely powerful energy from nuclear. But human beings, as we also now did, because of the wars, we made the nuclear. So it's real that human beings can also get up to mischief and use AI for wrong reasons. People are even saying, with the current war in Ukraine, that if AI was to be applied to that in terms of first fake news, you can actually start a war. By sending wrong information to wrong people and starting a war. So the dangers are real. That is why people like Bonebo, Salim Ismail, Peter Diamandis, and all the gurus are accepting, and there's even now propagation, even for Biden, for Congress to come up with laws that will manage, even at global level. Even people like Elon Musk have talked about we need to manage the ethical side of AI because it is quite dangerous. But there's another danger in terms of employment, where now all repeat jobs are clearly in danger. Accounting, legal, where people spend late nights doing calculations. They're done. I don't know if there are software people. Coding is done. AI is more powerful in doing coding than any other being. So there won't be any industry coding. So all those are off the table. So unemployment, definitely, it will be impacted. But what has happened historically is that there is short-term, but when people skill themselves with the new technology, they tend to create new industries. So AI is going to create new industries, which is obviously the plus side of the equation. But in terms of impact and what I'm really excited about, like what Monty is doing around applying AI in health, applying AI in education, in a lot of areas where, like I said earlier, it is really, really bound to revolutionize the way in terms of educational access and enrollment in Africa in areas that have not been accessible to good education. So, for instance, I know that's the example that Monty likes using. If, for instance, you've got a teacher in a rural area, he's got kids, and those kids have got some disabilities, and they don't have resources. AI, you can actually tell it, these language models, you can tell them I've got a kid, he's got this disability, actually don't have enough resources in terms of experiments. What can I use as a teacher in an isolation? It tells you what to use to make a plan. So as a resource to teachers and this whole thing of, remember the teachers that used to spend the whole night planning for class, all that can be done by AI. So all repeat jobs. The other thing is that, for me, my prediction is that now personalized education, why do we need a school? Now homeschooling, I think is going to really go out of control. Where people say, I've got kids, I've got AI, stay home, my kids can stay home, and then they can educate themselves. You can actually do tests on AI and actually pass exams. Also the timetable. Why wait for November for exams when you are ready in June? Because you've done the test and you are passing, hey, bring it on. So this 5 years, I've got to spend 5 years doing this, 7 years, is going to be really flexible, where you got a kid who's talented. By 5th grade, he's done his primary school. So there's going to be a lot of things that are really going to transform with AI, and I can talk more about health, but education, I think the one that really excites me, because we really should not be having kids. And in Botswana, in terms of our education system, it's really very sad in terms of the state of our education, in terms of tens and tens of thousands of kids that leave school every year from 15-year-olds. It's criminal what we're doing. Because I live with these kids, we try to help them, but the numbers are so big, we have to find a solution for them. And for me, AI will resolve those matters, especially with the connection going up to the villages. Starlink now is all over Africa, so we'll have access to internet all over. So AI is terribly exciting. So my recommendation is that, please, I don't know why I'm battling even going to say, no, jump in, otherwise you're going to struggle. Because right now is to know it. There are free courses. There's what. So everybody needs to jump so that Botswana can also leverage this AI revolution. And we should also be part of leadership in AI instead of just watching and using it for mischievous reasons.
Lovely. What about its impact in your field now, in the field of consulting?
Oh, because we are one of those that are in risk. Yeah.
Yeah, because I wanted to say that because I use ChatGPT. I've also used the one that Monty developed, 10x BW.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Yeah, it does everything for me, essentially.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that and how you're thinking about it.
Yeah. Look, the idea is that the biggest positive thing is that I talked about the 4 freedoms of entrepreneurs. And one of the big thing is time. And AI is going to give us more time to do other things. At AI, we talk about the co-pilot, your assistant that helps you, the way you get all your information in, the company information, everything. And it actually predicts what I should be doing. And it can be my side guide in terms of my things that I want to do. So in terms of consulting, we have, it's driven by knowledge. Consultants make money out of knowledge.
Yeah.
Now, that knowledge resides in AI. So now it means that assignments that are taking a week might take 2 days. So it's going to cut our fees. But hopefully we'll be able to blow our clients away. So with the model that we are trying to do now is that's why the 10x is very important. We're trying to create, for instance, in terms of consult, let's say for strategy, where we can do strategy globally instead of focusing in Botswana and actually leverage AI and be able to do strategy virtually anywhere in the world. But to do that, we've got to be first at the game. Make sure that we really develop the AI models that can do that. So we know that it's coming.
Yeah.
Consulting is one of the spaces where it's really at risk in terms of being taken out by AI. So what we are doing now is how can we leverage AI to be at the forefront and see how we can utilize it to actually increase revenue, leveraging 10x and an abundant market out there
as
globally.
a tool.
Yeah.
Right. There's something I want to read here that you said. I'm actually quoting you. I don't want to do anything that does not lead, that does not influence, that does not cut throat in excellence and quality. And when you said that, it gave me the chills. I was listening to it and I had a chill up my spine. Talk to me now about the ruthlessness you kind of have to have in excellence and quality. Because this is something that I think, especially maybe Rona, maybe more like Botswana, I think we've kind of allowed everything to just be, we can do things like this. We're not ruthless in the quality and everything, in the excellence. Like we're not that. I don't know if you understand my question.
No, I got you.
How do we develop that? And how do we develop it as a whole in an organization? How can we move from here to become, so that excellence is the name of the game?
Sure, what a question. No, it's a big, look, I, first of all, personally, from an excellence and quality and leading perspective, I like beauty. That's one area. We had visitors at the farm who are coming to design, these center pivots where we're going to be growing fodder.
Yes.
And I talked to them from GAPS, and they say, your place, because we've made the farm beautiful. I mean, I don't understand how people have farms and they're ugly.
Yeah.
So for me, and it goes back, and sorry, I'll keep humming on about talent in soccer. But when you see a player who's doing wonderful things with the ball, that guy has spent, some of them have been playing since 10 or 8, and they've mastered the art. For me, it's not just talent, it's beauty. And I apply the same thing in my life. Or whatever you do. Yes, it's not just the mechanical excellence and quality. You got to cross the T's. It's actually beautiful. You see what I mean? That's what drives me. So whatever you do, you got to do with style. That's why even at InnoLead, we're trying to instill aspects of happiness. Happiness goes with beauty. That's why when you travel, the things we do, where even our city, we put our, why can't we do a beautiful city? It's just, beautiful pathways, beautiful art that I see these pockets of art. You know, and I think, but at least, hey, I mean, just allow people free spaces and people can just do their art and go put it there free of charge. I'm sure artists will do it. But now there are a lot of ways, and you do gamification like we're doing here, where you allow people like games. Sometimes they don't need to be paid for games. So for me, that drive for excellence just makes a better place. I mean, let's give you an example from the 14th century in Italy, where there's this city down Florence. At the time, Florence had just started merchant banking. So last year, it made so much money, they didn't know what to do or what's next after having so much money. So after the guys by the army, by the Roman, I'm like, no, let's go conquer. Let's go conquer. I thought it was the in thing. We are taking over Zimbabwe. So, the emperor, but no, we can't do it. What else can we do? That's how Florence and Italy went into the beauty. Art, beauty. And I mean, in those parts of Europe, when you go there, you see the architecture. I mean, it's just amazing. People go there. Americans flock there to see the beauty. So, and beauty sells. That's another thing. People get attracted to beauty. You know, go to Dubai, where people go there just to admire the art and all that jungle. So it's not just the science part. There is the art side of me in terms of beauty. I grew up playing, I played tennis as well, to semi-professional level as a junior player. And I mean, you see the grace in tennis. When some of you who watch tennis, in terms of someone really swinging and nice cross-court shot. I mean, it's just amazing. And people pay a lot of money to come watch those things. So that's the combination. There is that beauty side of me as well, that I like things that are done well, and seeing a smiling client. So that I insist, and why InnoLead has made it to date is because what we call repeat business. And when people admire and they know that you go all the way, they will come back to you. So we've got what you call referral network, where someone works for Letsero, we do work for Letsero. So the next one I look about InnoLead come and do the work for us simply because of the quality. And it makes it cheaper from a 10x point of view, because then you don't have to spend money doing sales. So a lot of our clients actually are by referral. They call us simply because of the quality of work that you do. So if you invest in that, and like I said as well, because of the skepticism in our market about citizens and so to speak, black people, or can we do it? Obviously, you got to show them that we can. And don't take a chance. And I'm not saying we're perfect. We make mistakes. The big thing about mistakes is that learn from the mistakes, correct it. I mean, we have a failure register for InnoLead, where a failure comes, we register it, we learn from it, we make sure that next time we can learn from that failure. And then so that we encourage people to register failures, because we do have failures. We do the projects that we bomb. So it's really a big passion that has driven me. And I think it's also a bit of, I had a very perfectionist mother as well during the time when she inspect. Checks the dishes. When you sweep the floor, you do this, you check. So that also was ingrained in me. Or whatever you touch, whatever you do it with quality and grace. And that's what makes someone to stand up in society, because and so on.
Yes. Actually, talking about family like that, you are a leader in the workplace, also in the home. How is leadership different in the workplace and in the homestead? Because we've had Monty on the episode on Deep Dive twice. And it would be very hard for me to believe that there was not an intentional effort in upbringing. Can be a value to society and net positive. So talk to me about that.
I think first, not to glamorize too much. I mean, raising kids today is a hell of a, I don't know.
It's the Olympics.
Who has kids here, so that I know, you're watching me carefully so that you prepare yourself. So it's I mean, you know, because you've been kids, you've been teenagers, so you know the pressure in terms of your parents or your aunties and all that. So it's a battle. And it's a battle because you now have too many variables in society. You know, from television to friends to glamour
social media.
I mean, there's just so much noise that to try and ground your kids, it's a hell of a task. I mean, part of, like I said, everything I do for a purpose. Farming is not just to, like I said, there's beauty, there's nature, but there's also exposure to the earth for family. You know, a man should work the field, should work the ground. And he just likes bossy around. She like what I'm papa just to get at me. Because So I tried to, I mean, I like gardening. So I worked in the garden. I made sure that they work the earth, you know, ba pete, ba jale, ba komaraking, you know, ba monti, ba tipile di khomo, ba tsubile di khomo, all those things.
Hey, you don't place a garden work hard.
Yeah. So that really grounds someone. You know, for you to be an entrepreneur or a policy top person, you got to do things that humble you. I don't know if you get me. You got to do things that humble. And doing simple tasks like jarata. That's I'm wasting my time. I need to go practice AI. But in terms of how it affects your life, it's just amazing. And as a parent, as a father, it was extremely important that I expose my kids to that. And I get shocked because sometimes we invite other kids to come with to the farm. I mean, the fact that we are a cattle industry and some of the kids go there, but what is that one? And they don't even know what is a Brahman. And seeing Bomontile, the younger brother and Bakoba tells no, there's a Brahman, there's a what? And then Babita, a cow, a bull. I mean, Jesus. I mean, these are, I mean, because. So, and then we say we're a cattle country, So, but the spirit is that you got to humble yourself. And it's amazing. When I'm with these Canadians who Canada, and we were chatting about life and farming and all that, when I talk about, you can see they really, look, guys, nature is part of who we are. We are part of an ecosystem, from the universe to the grass, to the water, to the fire, to all those things. All that is together. That's how we get energy. I mean, the best sleep, sleep is a hell of a good drug. If you guys sometimes fight with Monty over it, to sleep 4 or 5 hours, you are damaging your body. Sleep is a natural drug that helps you survive. So my best sleep is at the farm. Why? Because it's dark, it's quiet, the nature is calming. It's amazing how it works there. Just builds a calming effect on your body. So those are the things that I expose the kids to. It's never perfect. They've had their struggles as my kids, but by and large, they have been extremely grounded.
How do you expose them to entrepreneurship?
Yeah,
because it's also a thing of, I'm not a parent, but it's like you can't want it for them.
Yeah.
Essentially, like they have to want it themselves.
Yeah.
And clearly, entrepreneurship.
Look, the best way to be a father or a mother or a parent is to demonstrate it. You know, I mean, they said even the elder brother is not an entrepreneur. The one he's into software programming and all that, and he enjoys sitting and programming the whole day. You know, but they saw me crafting every day, working. You know, and not just sitting. But every time I say move on, you're showing your age. I can do it. You're showing you move on. I don't do anything. You know, because I've done a talk to UB students, for instance, a couple of years ago, and I was asking them, you know, what do you do at night? And all of them, they watch television and they spend time on the phone. It's just criminal, guys. The amount of time the young people of today, and that raises your level of status inquiry. You start becoming sensitive to status, because status are really about the likes.
Yeah.
Or do you feel, you know, when you watch Both Generations too much, it's all about dressing and the house and that. So it really, really puts you under pressure from a state, and a status is really a downfall. If you're really driven by status. I mean, there's a philosopher called Éliane de Botton, a French, Swiss guy, who's written about status and how status is destroying kids of today, or even
name?
elders. It's not just Elian de Botton.
Elian de Botton.
Yeah, I'll give you the name after that. Yeah, he runs a school called School of Education. No, Education for Life. Education for Life. So he's a Swiss, but he stays in England. So it's very, very important in terms of this grounding aspect and making sure that the kids and the family, they see that entrepreneurial journey. I mean, even the Hakileko Canada, the elder brother actually quoted, yes, I used to see, because Monty was saying, no, they were arguing. No, Papa used to spend, because arguing that he needs to spend late nights. And I used to say, Papa, and then Sepa's like, no, Papa never slept at 4 a.m. in the morning. Yes, he worked late. He traveled, he did this. Late hours, because he's very passionate and very excited. But even at your age, you got to have 7-8 hours sleep, period. Otherwise, you are basically shortening your life. The impact on your aging due to lack of sleep, due to lack of exercise, all those things is actually quite phenomenal in terms of shortening your lifespan, Even not having friends and having the biggest impact on your well-being in life. There are a lot of them, but the biggest one is social connections. The friends you have, the family you have, and those connections are extremely important in terms of your well-being as a person. They say, if you've seen anybody laughing out loud, he's always got company.
Yeah.
So it shows, and that really is healing in terms of inflammation and those type of things. Yeah. So it's very important that you understand those aspects, because like I said earlier, we are trying to create this army of entrepreneurs that look at life holistically, a sense of purpose, are prepared to put the time and the energy is driven by where you want to achieve in terms of your purpose. But at the time, you got to look at the temple that really, because when you are in good shape, and actually innovation is amazing. Again, when I'm at the farm, that's where the top ideas come from. Moonshot ideas. Because of just from a natural, that natural injection point of view.
Lovely. My last question for you is, how do you want to be remembered as Mr. Kgengwenyane?
I think so I never think about it too much. So I'm hoping these guys about 10 years that are about rockets, because the thing about entrepreneurs is that we are so enthusiastic about life.
Yeah. Even Dan Sullivan said that on his 70th birthday, he had a 25
he's got a 25-year vision. He's 78 now, and he still has a 25-year vision. So you do those 25. And it's amazing that when you plan ahead, 25 years. I mean, you guys, whatever, you're 25, you're 30. If you start thinking, Coach has got a template for planning for 25 years. If you start planning about it, you actually get excited about that. But you got to sit down and plan the 25-year. Then you plan 25, you go back to 10, you go back to 3, and then my life is planned on 90-day basis, going down to the week. So I've got a weekly planner that I complete every week. But these are the things that I want to victor this week. And then I plan for both the work stuff and the stuff I do, and I call the free days that I'm not working. You plan, I want to go play tennis, I want to visit a friend or whatever, so that you do them. Because if you don't write them, you don't do them. Just the basic stuff, Yeah. So you got to really be proactive in doing these things.
All right. No, lovely stuff. Lovely. Thank you guys for watching this episode. We really hope you enjoyed it and learned something new. Deep Dive is dedicated to bringing you the most comprehensive and engaging information about business, personal finance, and personal development. Make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay updated with all our latest content. If you like this video, give it a like to show your support and help us reach a wider audience. And don't forget to share this video with your friends and your family who may be interested. Sharing helps us grow our community and connect with like-minded individuals. Leave a comment below and give us your biggest takeaway on this episode. If you're interested in being a part of our live studio audiences, make sure to register for the next show. Can't make it to the show? No problem. Check out our Patreon page to watch the full episode and get exclusive access to more great content. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode of The Deep Dive.